So we're going to talk today about flipping our understanding of how we use these base 10 blocks, because we're going to start our unit on decimals today. And in our unit on decimals, we're dealing with pieces that are less than 1. And in our base 10 blocks, the way we're used to using them, this represents 1, our little teeny tiny cube. But we're going to zoom in on this today, and we're going to replace it with this. We're going to take this 1, and we're going to represent it cut into 10 equal sections each way. That way we can see visually that in our new understanding of base 10, when we're looking at pieces smaller than 1, our strip here, our stick that we would normally use, if this is our benchmark, which is 1, this stick is going to be 1 in our tenths place, or 1/10. So when we look at a tenth of a tenth, because we're going down in place value, so we're going down 10 times smaller each time we move down, a tenth of a tenth is going to be 1/100th. And that should all be pretty familiar from 3rd and 4th grade when we're looking at those decimals. It's the smaller than 1/100th decimals that we are concerned about today. When we want to represent a decimal that's smaller than 1/100th, we need to take this teeny tiny little piece and we need to cut that into tenths. So it's not a handheld piece. We don't have our hands on this piece, because that piece, if we took, imagine those teeny tiny little cubes, and then take those teeny tiny little cubes and run those through a teeny tiny little saw, and we cut that teeny tiny little cube 10 times. Basically what we have is confetti. So when we do diagramming and we represent 1/1000th, what you'll see is a little line that comes out from this corner, and a little line that comes out from this corner, and then a bigger box. And that box is going to be divided 3, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Into 10 equal, hopefully equal, better than my hand drawn looking at the board backwards, equal pieces. So this is 1. 1/10 of 1 is 1/10. 1/100th of 1 is 1/100th. And if we take that 1/100th piece and we cut that into 10 equal pieces, that is 1/1000th. So let's roll over to the Pro board. So that you can see some of our equal pieces that we used from the textbook. And I'm going to zoom us way in, and I'm going to use the computer so that my head is out of your way. So if we were to count our tenths in question number 2, this is on page 153 of your textbook, by the way. If we were going to count our tenths, let's mark our tenths in red. 1/10, 2/10, 3/10. So for our tenths place, that is terrible. Our tenths place is going to be 0.3. That's terrible, but it's less terrible. So let's count our hundredths. Our hundredths are going to be marked by these little squares, because this is 10 of these add up to 1. And then 10 of our hundredths here add up to 1. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So in our hundredths place, we're going to have a equally terrible 9. So right now we have 3/10 900ths, and let's go with green for our thousandths. And you can see the way our book represents thousandths is we take this little cube and we pull it out and we blow it up. And when we blow this up, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 1,000ths represented out of this 100th that we've pulled out and blown up. So what we have here is we have 3/10ths, 900ths, and 8,000ths put together. And when we put them together, we say them as pieces of the smallest place value. So our smallest place value here is thousandths. So as pieces of the smallest place value, we would say 398 thousandths. 398 thousandths. Our notes are both going to be on our anchor chart and on our Math Notes from Mr. G's class Facebook page. When you have watched this video, check the anchor chart. It's going to be on the yellow bulletin board. Copy the anchor chart into your notes and go to page 135 and see if you can finish these two charts. These next two charts down here are 10 times and 100 times, which means we're moving up place values. If it says 10 times bigger, that means we move up one place value, 10 times. If it says 10 times smaller or 1/10 of, remember that's a division, so we're moving down a place value. And that's a thing we've already covered a lot of times. So I'm going to float around the classroom and we're going to talk in groups about 10 times and 1/10 of if we don't remember. And if we do remember, we're just going to rock it out and get going on pages, double checking myself, 155 and 156. Pages 155 and 156 are going to be our homework today and our classwork today.